Shall we start? So, hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar, Jira for Construction. Here we build efficiency on every project. So, I'm Iman from onpoint, and today we are thrilled to be joined by our dear speaker, Samuel. He is our sales lead at onpoint. But before we dive in, let's get to know each other more further. So in the chat, can you just put on emojis describing your mood tackling this webinar today? Just drop on some emojis. Let's see. Nice meeting you, Michael. Just drop on some emojis and let's see how do you expect this webinar is going to be. Nice. We have a lot of happy faces. Georgette, does I say it right? Georgette. That's a beautiful name. Okay, a lot of happy people. Nice. Very excited. Great. Perfect. Oh, Kuchiku. Nice. Okay. Good. Okay, fantastic. Now let's meet our speaker, who is Samuel. So Samuel brings over 5 years of expertise in sales and business development, and he specializes in project management. So I assure you, you are in good hands today. So without further ado, I would like to turn things over to our speaker, Sam. He will walk you through the power of Jira for construction projects. So I would like to leave the floor to our speaker, Samuel, and he will walk you through the presentation and explain further.
Thank you, Iman.
Okay, perfect.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Sam.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you today? Are you excited for this webinar?
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Good.
I saw
Okay,
the
we are
emojis.
joining us from Malta today.
Yes. I'm currently in Malta at the moment, and I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay, so I will leave the floor to you. Go ahead with the presentation.
All right. Thank you, Iman. Thank you, everybody, for joining. It's really a pleasure and an honor to present to you all today. All right. But before I start, I just want to know how many of us probably are in the construction field. So if you're in the construction field, you can say yes. If not, you can say no. So I'll just be monitoring the comments to see how many of us probably are in the construction industry. Okay, hello unit. So I want this to be very interactive. So it's really going to be me asking you questions. And bear in mind, I was a teacher for some years, so I'm used to asking questions and getting answers. Okay, great. So I see some yeses and I see some no's, right? All right. Thank you for answering. I have another question. It will be like, so if you're not in construction, but in project management, you can type project. Just project for me to know that yes, you may not be into construction, but you are into project management in general. So okay, no, but we'll consider it very soon. I think it will be a good consideration. Yeah, Michelle, it would be an amazing thing to do. If you're in general project management, you can just type project in the chat. I just want to have an idea. Okay, so there's projects. Okay, construction. All right. Okay, so I think I have a fair idea of the kind of audience we have today. So no project. Okay, we see you. Nice to meet you. All right. So it's going to be an interesting discussion, right? I am not into construction, but I'm into projects and sales, like Iman said. But then over some time, we've experienced some similarities in projects. I'm in software projects, right? People know Jira for software stuff, but we were puzzled to research the similarities between software projects and construction projects. And then I could tell you that there are lots of similarities. So we are going to leverage around these similarities and narrow it down to how Jira, the tool you think and have known for software teams, can help construction teams. And just to say in passing, Jira is no more just a software product. It's for every team across every industry. So we are going to look at general issues that as a project manager or as a person into projects you face, and then we narrow it down to how and what areas we can use Jira to improve on. So I'm going to share my screen and then walk through a presentation. Please feel free to ask questions because I'll be asking you lots of questions. Yeah, I think my last question before I share my screen, it just came to mind. How many of you have used Jira before? So if you've used Jira, just type in Jira. If you're currently using it, type in Jira now. And if you've never used Jira, type no. Yeah, so if you have used Jira, you type Jira. If you're using it now, you type Jira now. If you have never used it, you type no. Yeah. Okay, Jira now, Jira now. No, okay, Michelle. Jira yesterday. Joseph. All right, that's interesting. No, okay. Yeah, it's okay. So there are a couple of yets and there are a few notes. Please keep it coming because I want us all to enjoy this session together. Yeah. And I can promise you it's not going to be complex and complicated. It's going to be simple things we basically know, but it's just good to always, relearn. Yeah. Okay, so those who have not heard Jira before, right? Jira it's simply a project and work management tool that allows teams to work together. So I'm sure by the end of this webinar, you're going to want to find more about Jira and probably fall in love with it. Okay, so I think I can share my screen now. All right. I hope you can see my screen, right? If you can see my screen, just type yes in the chat. Yeah. Joseph, all right. So I actually opened up the content to more broader perspective. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, you're looking at innovative project management solutions to improve construction projects efficiency. All right, in short, Jira for construction. But I just want us to look at the word innovative, which is actually emphasizing on the need for us to be innovative in today's world and how we can improve our construction projects efficiency. All right. So my name is Samuel, and as you already know, I'm the sales team leader at onpoint. And I like people a lot. I enjoy people doing great stuff. Basically, onpoint is an Atlassian partner and a Microsoft partner. We do sell Jira and BC. And more importantly, what we do is help companies implement right. Because over the years, we've seen that it's not just the acquisition of the software, it's actually the right implementation. And more importantly, the right partner to help you implement the way that works for your team. Yeah. So this is my LinkedIn handle. Please, if you have not connected with me, kindly connect and let's talk more. All right, so the agenda, it's simple. We're going to look at some current challenges, the tools and innovation, that is Jira, and a bonus which I've entitled Unified Help. All right. Okay, so let's get in. I have a question. If you could make a major hurdle or issue disappear in your construction project, which one would you choose? Now, because some of us are not into construction, you can just select, assume if you're a construction project manager and you want to make something disappear. So let's see the options you choose. And please put them in the comments. Sorry, okay, yeah. All right, so let's see. Okay, so as you can see, we have tracking projects in a spreadsheet, change it in the project scope or client requirements. Okay, so please let the comments flow. But generally, you can see that these are all major hurdles, one way or the other we have faced, even if you're not in construction. For example, tracking projects in a spreadsheet. Everybody somewhere, somehow have used spreadsheets before, and we know how difficult it is to track projects in a spreadsheet. Communication breakdowns between project teams. I mean, this is one of my major concerns. This is a major headache I would love to, solve if I had the magic to do so. Because, I mean, in this era of remote work, I mean, communication is key, and sometimes, there's this breakdown that prevents us from having the right visibility and information we need. Okay, so yet, so we're going to look at how, with the power of Jira, we can make sure some of these things vanish. Right. 3 in 4 projects are delayed. This percentage is huge. I mean, if you pick 4 projects, according to McKinsey and PMI, 3 in 4 projects delay. I mean, how many of you in the construction industry can relate to this? And the reason for the delay could be any other reason, but most times we've seen that it's mostly dependent on the schedule. If the schedule goes wrong, the schedule management and the schedule plan goes wrong, it mostly affects the delay. And most times there's rework, and sometimes too, there's lack of clarity. So think about all the reasons that could make this, that could cause this statistics that 3 in 4 projects are delivered late. That is huge. Okay, so like I said, a major concern in the construction project management is scheduling, how they are able to schedule work in a way that suit, in a way that represents the project, right? So scheduling is putting things in time perspective and then managing the timelines accordingly. But we've realized that sometimes schedules don't work as it is. And most times, because schedule is always, I would say, like, schedule does not mean, okay, my schedule will happen exactly as it is. There's the need for the flexibility of having different scenarios of schedules so that when any unforeseen activity goes wrong or any mishap happens, you can quickly know how to adjust and be in control of your schedule. So scheduling has been actually noticed as one of the major cause of the earlier statistics I showed you. Over 60% of projects well done is decided in pre-construction. And this is so true, even not in the construction sector, because in the pre-construction stage, we are looking at the conception development, we are looking at the development of the design, we are looking at stakeholder expectations, and we are managing actually the architecture of the project. But most times, it is as if that we don't spend so much time in pre-construction. Okay, so it's like there's a lot of gaps, there's a lot of loopholes, there's a lot of uncleared intent. Okay, so expectations are not even managed well at pre-construction. This is just to let you know that if you are in construction project management and you want to win, you have to invest a lot of time in pre-construction because over 60% of all projects well done are decided in that pre-construction stage. Probably you have not given it much attention, but you should probably look at it again. Now, these are, I think, my last facts I'll be sharing before we delve in. 50% of project-related rework is caused by poor communication. How many of you can agree with this? That is like a half of all the rework is caused in a project. I believe it's true. Even if you look at other projects like marketing projects or related to whatever industry you are in, you can realize that most times when there's a rework, it was because maybe a major key stakeholder had no idea of what was going to happen, or he had a different idea from the people who actually implemented the project. Okay, so communication is really huge, especially in the construction sector, because there's a lot of different vendors, different stakeholders, and I mean, a lot of team members working at different phases of the project. So the moment there is poor communication, definitely we can actually be sure of a possible rework. 90% of construction projects finish with cost overruns by 30%. This is budgeting. Like it's saying simply that most times companies go overboard on their budget by 30%. And this is a 90% of construction projects. This over budget could come from yet reworks because when there's rework, for example, it means more labor, more resources. So definitely there has to be investment in purchasing and paying labor. So this is really, I mean, you can get the picture, right? The last one is 8/10 of stakeholders cite the need for better collaboration with contractors, right? So to the project owners, I mean, the other key stakeholders, they 8/10, that is like 80% cite the need for better collaboration. So we are looking at communication, we are looking at budget, and we are looking at collaboration, right? So these key things if you're a construction project manager or you're in a construction field and you pay attention to your collaboration, your communication, and also your budget, you should be able to do better projects. To avoid the above, to avoid being part of the statistics I showed earlier, you have to have an excellent schedule management. That will be a key plan to avoiding that, right? And what does an excellent schedule management look like on the brief side? Okay, so on the planning phase, you are looking at your ability to develop accurate schedules, right? Schedules that are integrated and that are achievable. At the delivery stage, we are looking at a schedule that informs progress consistently, where stakeholders can actually monitor progress and are aligned with the analytics that comes. Okay. Also, when a schedule is done very poorly, what you can see is that it's unrealistic. I mean, never integrated, is always underestimated, and then it lacks stakeholder support. At the delivery stage, there is no control. Most times, there are conflicts between the stakeholders and project delays. So obviously, you don't want to do your schedule management very poorly. So definitely, you should be looking at how to get help and doing that. I mean, in building good schedule, in planning, and that is what we are going to take a look at very soon. This is a very popular statement I've come to love that projects actually do not go wrong; they start wrong. And how many of you agree with it? If you agree with it, just pause and type I agree. Okay, so I'm going to pause and wait for you. If you agree with it, let me know. That projects actually do not go wrong. They start very wrong. And I personally do agree with this statement. And then those of you who are sharing the comments, yes, that is true. I mean, because if you think about it, if it starts wrong, I mean, chances are that it's going to go wrong. Okay, so what you have to do then as a construction project person is to ensure that your projects do not start wrong. And the core thing here is what you are thinking, planning, because better planning at the pre-construction stage, better planning your schedule, planning your budget, planning your teams would actually help you do the project right. Okay, so we're going to look at what tools. Okay, you've heard Jira, all right, to help you not manage your projects wrongly or to help prevent your projects from not going wrong. There are two major tools I want to introduce you to, probably three. We're going to look at them briefly. If you're excited, let me see you give an exciting emoji. Please, like I said, I'm a teacher, so I love people. So please show me some love. Let me see your emojis. And actually, you can screenshot this and share on your LinkedIn pages and let us know your view on this. That projects do not go wrong; they start wrong. All right. So I'm going to introduce you to a tool. I'm going to introduce you by its functionalities before I tell you the name. But then what this tool does is it allows you to track and manage your project complexities further. Yet in the last session, I'm going to kind of show my screen and share a simple walkthrough of how this tool works. But as you can see on the screen, right, you're able to visualize your list of work and group them. I mean, most of you are familiar with the traditional project management models and the agile project management models. One of the things that is actually been very, very key back then is a Kanban board, being able to visualize your work issues or your work, how do you call it, breakdown system, breaking down work into smaller pieces and arranging them in the Kanban board, like in the various progress or statuses that they should be. So there's a tool that you can use to manage these complex projects. I mean, and break down them to everyday tasks. And more importantly, you're not the only person who's going to see it, but the team members who are actually going to implement your plans are going to be able to have it on their mobile phones. So there's plan on the go. Most times in Excel, the plans are in the head of just the PM or the program manager or the construction manager, for example. And team workers don't have access to this information. They don't. Sometimes they even don't have access to their plans. And bear in mind that when you're talking about the way of work in a construction project management, you are not just looking at the people implementing a particular phase, let's say the masons or the electricians. These are different vendors who will come to play in different times of the project. So it will be very ideal that on their level, they have visibility also into the plan. And for you as a project manager to track the work as they go. Also, one major feature that I want to add that is quite differentiated from all the other basic project management features, is aligning work to goals, right? So most times, even in every project, right, or in every organization, or particularly in every industry, there are different goals set by key stakeholders. And then most times, workers or team members do not know what goals are set within quarters, years, or even months. So it's like they are working without knowledge of what goals to achieve. And it becomes harder also for the key stakeholders to track their activities in alignment with the goals they have in their mind, right? So we are saying that, you know what, share your goals with your team so that every team who is working will have an idea what goals are set before them, even in the construction phase. A goal could be like a timeline. It could be a number of blocks fixed in a certain particular unit, right? Basically. So you can create goals, one, to inspire the team to see how their work or their daily work actually aligns or helps the corporate group and reach these goals. Okay, I think this is an interesting feature for me. Okay, and the two I'm showing this slide is talking about Jira. Okay, so Jira software is no longer called Jira software. It's actually called Jira now, and the meaning is that there's an integration of both work management and software management. So with getting the same product, you have access to manage your construction and your business units, okay, without having to deal with all the software techie stuff. That is, if you don't have any software issue to run. So with Jira, you have a whole package of, yes, all the package of the software and the work management also at the same price, which is really, really cool. So then let's be realistic here. As a construction company or industry, when you're engaging the stakeholders, right? There's the logistics side of it. There's a procurement team. Okay, there is a communication team, for example. There's an administrative and finance, and all these people must be aligned to the goals and actually see the progress of the whole construction. So if you are looking for a tool, you are not looking for just a tool that helps you manage the on the prem construction, but also the full scope of every part of your construction. All right. And then the last thing is that as a construction person, I learned this from Jason. He's a construction coach, and he said that tell yourself, I love the numbers. Most times people don't love the numbers. So if you can put your hands on your chest and say, I love the numbers, and the numbers love me. I mean, if you can take a deep breath and say, I love the numbers, and the numbers love me, you know, okay, so let me just pause and see people. I mean, if you you can even type it that yes, I love the numbers and the numbers love me. It's all about the numbers, right? It's all about having insights onto what is actually happening. Okay, what is done, what is not done, what is in progress, what is being delivered, and the flexibility of being able to generate customized reports that meet or answers your questions in mind is very key, especially in today's construction industry. And let me just be honest, to every industry. So as you can see, you can look at your team workload. You can actually know which of your teams are underburdened or overburdened. And this could be teams across all your how do you call it, your organization. And as a construction project, you want to monitor your schedule, you want to monitor your lead days, your buffers, and all that. So you should be able to see the numbers and make decisions around the numbers. So once again, I love the numbers, and the numbers love me. I know some of us we don't love numbers. We only love numbers when it comes with money. That is also a good way to love numbers, but obviously you should love the numbers when it comes to managing your project. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to talk about here within the Jira software is bringing your team together under one roof, right? So different teams, probably different team leads. Okay, so I'll be honest. Like I mentioned earlier, I am not fully into the construction industry. All I'm trying to do is to help you rethink into innovative ways you can structure your work and manage your projects. So to our construction experts here, I mean, we could have a session and I would love to have a talk with you. I mean, share your experience and help you even implement some of these innovations. All right. But this point is very clear. The idea of bringing your team together under one roof is important. And the roof here is not just your office space or your construction site, which are very key and important, but also digitally, they have to bring them into one roof. Their mobile phones. I mean, every person actually may somehow use a mobile phone, right? True fault. And so bringing your team under one roof to actually know exactly where they can find everything. It is very crucial that your team members know the one place they can find everything they are looking for, right? And this is the power of a tool called Confluence that is blended with Jira. Okay, so think about it. Let me paint this a scenario. I mean, to their construction project managers, right? before you start any project, there are lots of documents that you want your team to know. I mean, there's a lot of documents in your space, but just for this example, for example, you want your teams to have idea of the typical specializations, like the typical ideas or the typical project restrictions, for example, or the typical notes. There are certain information that are really crucial and typical for you to help you manage the project, and you would want your team to know. So the idea is that you bring them under one roof, you show them everything they have to know in one place. So accessing information is easy. And trust me, nobody can give you an excuse that I didn't know this, because now you are bringing them all the data or everything they need under one place where they can easily access it. But there's an interesting research conducted by McKinsey again, and they said employees spend an average of 2.7 hours finding the right information to work. This is really huge. I mean, even if you go outside of the construction phase and look at probably the procurement department or the construction sector or the contract or legal department, okay, it's actually estimated that they spend over 2.5 hours finding the right information to work. I mean, I was at an event here in Malta last week, dubbed the Mars Summit, an event for construction um, industry, for the construction industry. And we met one construction company leader, and he said, my team spends about 4 hours finding an information. And it was really interesting. I thought 2.5 hours, but he could so relate with it because he sees it every day. And it's like these are common information that comes often, like we use often. But I mean, you have to go through long files, long spreadsheets to get this information to work. So the idea is if you bring them all in one place, you get the advantage of speed. And truth is that your workers or your team members don't get disengaged at work. I mean, when we spend long hours finding the right information, the honest truth is we all get disengaged at a point in time. And so, yet, this is a powerful feature that we believe can drive the construction phase. And then the last, sorry, I thought the last. There's going to be a lot of pictures, and I show you probably a short demo. Right? Is never lose sight of the big picture. I've explained this already, so you can see that the lines here within the three green things are just talking about the dependency and relationships in brief. But as a construction project manager or as a project manager, you don't lose sight of the bigger picture. So as you're doing the work, you are mapping it down to your goals, and so you have visibility, which has become a very key commodity in the 21st century. And this is the last part I love so much. I mean, when it comes to Jira software, the configurations are very open, right? You configure it to the way your team works, the language your team understands, the expressions your teams understand, the workflows that work for them. So we are not saying, okay, pick a software and work as the software dictates or instructs. This is get a software and build as your team is. Okay, it allows your team the flexibility, one, to adapt faster because the language is a language they understand. The tone, the workflow, everything looks like it's built for them. And this is where we come in as on point that, you know what, we hold your hand through this journey and we build for your team, basically. I think this is very lovely. And the last one, okay, sorry, I'll keep saying the last one, but I forgot myself that I put more information. So please bear with me. Yeah. So this is analytics. You can scan, you can get dashboards that can represent your projects at any point of its phase. Now, I've been talking about how Jira helps in overall benefits of Jira, but I'm going to just now narrow down to plans and documents, right? I mean, Jira simplifies your planning, your work, your tracking progress, and reports updates. Now, let's look at the document side. What happens? Okay, if you look at documentation in construction, it's really, really cumbersome. My dad is a contractor, okay, and I see him with big bags every time and lots of documents. Sometimes it's designs, sometimes it's contracts. And yet, I remember one time he lost a major deal. No, he didn't lose, he lost lots of money because of he missed a certain document he was supposed to read. And long story short, there's so much power, we've piled too much documents and it's not making them nice, basically. So, and the documents you're looking at collaborative efforts, knowledge management, and communication. So let's just jump in quickly. So when we say knowledge-based management, forget the English, just say document management or information management, right? This is just something that you probably know, and I know you do understand. How do we make sure that all the experience, all the information, all the knowledge we have, and all the documents we have are first of all grouped well, accessible, and can be actually identified faster? So you're not looking at knowledge which is scattered, but an organized way to do that. and more importantly, a software that will allow you to do that with ease and happiness. Okay, so these are just some examples of relevant documents in construction I thought of. Right, you have contracts and agreements, which requires a lot of stakeholder engagement. Your legal team, your team, probably external stakeholders. Your project documentation, it could be the cost, the quality and control, lots of things under this. Your drawings and specifications and permits and approvals, among the many other documents, right? And to a typical construction company, sometimes you guys manage multi contracts, like so, multi projects within the same scope of time. And all these documentations are going to be a lot on your decks, a lot on your shelves, a lot somewhere in your bags, probably. And you need the flexibility of grouping all these documents into relevant spaces that relate to the particular projects you're working on. So just imagine for a second, when you search for project A, you have all the documents that relates with project A under it on the same space, on the same kind of platform. And when you search for project B, you have all your documents. This saves you time. This reduces the errors of losing some documents and all that. And it makes your team members and even yourself very happy. So like I said, what we have seen and from the feedback we've gotten to some construction companies we are trying to help set up here in Malta and even in Ghana, Nigeria, we've seen that typically, and this is not the construction phase, if it affects every organization. Informations are siloed, right? You find information sitting different software. Let me just try and be funny. Sometimes the information is just in one person's head. I mean, it's only in his head. He's the only person who remembers the price of a particular product or the password for something. So if you call him the head of Malusa, he has all the information. And sometimes the informations are disorganized, right? Like you cannot just, I mean, something if something is disorganized, I think it's more painful than even if it's missing because the hours you find you spend to find something from a disorganized state is really, really plenty, and you wouldn't want that, right? So this is where the power of knowledge management, powered by Atlassian's product called Confluence, comes in. Right. So it helps your teams unlock answers faster because, yes, like I said, all the informations are grouped, they are tied or linked to particular projects, specific projects. Okay, so when you need an answer, it's easy. And then now powered by AI, you can just raise queries and you find the answers, right? It also allows your team to accelerate work because, yes, if you're finding the right answers faster, we can move faster. And then one of the things that it helps every team get started quickly. When I say get started, right, if you want to create a new document or you want to maybe create a new knowledge space, right? It's easy for you to spin up because you have a software that allows you to do that basically. So if there's something I want you to remember, it's projects do not go wrong, they start wrong. And two, Confluence, my knowledge space hub, is going to help and transform your team so much. All right. Okay, so Confluence in brief is this all your team's knowledge in one place. So from files to freedom, we have spent lots of times seeing lots of files, like glancing through files, folders, and feeling all busy and sweaty, like, yo, I did the hard work. I mean, please move to freedom. Freedom is amazing with Confluence. You can easily query, and as you can see on my right, okay, I'll in the last 5 minutes of my presentation, I'll show more of a simple demo. So don't try squeezing your eye. But this is all your knowledge base and all your documents tied to particular and specific projects as you wish. And so it makes finding documents easily for you. And then getting everyone on the same page. So imagine you have to work on a contract agreement that requires about maybe 4 different stakeholders. Okay. And you want to kind of collaborate real time. Okay. Confluence give you the space to actually get everybody on the same page to work on particular documents at the same time, right? So different people writing different portions. I mean, I enjoyed this because at my team, sometimes working on proposals with my team members, we work on the same thing. And it's just to me fascinating to see my team member typing as I'm typing. I mean, I'm like, hey, is that how you're thinking? I mean, it's really nice for me personally because it makes work enjoyable and it builds up, I mean, the team also. And this is not just typing. We are looking at whiteboards where you can, using particular design elements, walk through the mind of a certain concept and make it visible to your team. So you're looking at databases and you're looking at spaces. I will show that in my last 5 minutes, right? And the last thing is leaving the busy work to AI. I mean, everybody has heard AI. So I'm going to just play a short video and watch, and then we continue from there. Okay, so did we see that? Let me just replay it again for some of us who love to watch things very crucially. All right. So as you can see, there was just a simple question, and your team members or the person who made the query is getting the answers fast. Yes, I know some of you saw mobile app. Like I said, we used to do software project management. So this can be what is the timeline for the next phase of the project. Because the reason this is possible is that you have your knowledge in one data, okay, one software or unified platform. So you're able to search across and find the information. So this is what we are saying. That trust me, leave the busy work to AI. And if you're a busybody or if you're a busy bee at the office, I mean, you have to start advising yourself also. All right. Okay, so this is a sample picture I took of maybe a project and there's documents under it. So if you can see, there's a project pages, right? And you can see the project scope, the capacity plan, the vendor agreement, budget versus actual estimate. So as a construction project manager looking for documents, when I come to a project, I can find all the project documents easily, and this helps me move forward. I mean, I think I have to pause here if there are any questions or comments, or if you want to just chill up. I just have probably 10 minutes to wrap up. Yeah. Should I pause or go? I mean, please let me, should I pause or keep it running? Let me know your feedback. Okay. Any feedbacks? Should I pause or go? If you want me to keep, you can type go. If you want me to pause, just say pause. Okay. All right. Okay. So I think if there are any comments or questions, let's see. Let me keep it running. Okay, that's it. I should keep running. We same boat. Let me keep running, right? Okay, so we are going to let's just pause. You can take a screenshot of our website actually, because this is what we do. We help build the way you work. And this is our website. You can check our website. You can also send us, I mean, reach us from this website. Okay, so just a minute. Um, let's screenshot. I mean, a screenshot will help. All right. Okay, so let's move on. The last bonus I wanted to add was unified help, right? Everybody enjoys being helped. I mean, let's look at a typical project, right? Different stakeholders. Your project owners or the external stakeholders are consistently asking you for insights about their project. What's the status? What is happening? Okay. And I think it would be amazing if you could help them faster. And also if you could help them without you being stressed. And so unified help comes from the analogy that there are different components. And I think it comes from the knowledge, secondly, that we have to be kind to each other to help any of our employees or team members when the need requires, right? So we are looking at how do we make sure that we are helping our team members, basically. Okay, so this is it. Most times when you're handling a project, right, your stakeholders reach you via calls, and your stakeholders are probably your external customers, or it could be your internal customers, basically. And sometimes, and most times, you've seen that emails where we talk a lot, and sometimes there's a phone call, and sometimes there's a help center, right? This is what we are saying that regardless of how your stakeholders want to get the information, I mean, they can reach you easily, but without so much stress from your side because you have a good project management system that has all your project updates. You have a good knowledge based system that have all the required documents. And so providing them with a help center that allows them to access information anytime and most times without even your active involvement could be nice. This helps keep the relationship because you are helping them and they feel you are always there because you are giving them the answers they need. All right. So let's see. For example, just imagine a stakeholder having this ability on the phone and they're able to ask, like, customize this on their phone and they're able to ask any question, right? What you see is a mobile app kind of question, but it could be tailored to your construction project. For example, where are we with maybe the second phase of the project? And then they can get answers. Okay, making their experience easy. The other advantage of this is that you're also building the brand of your company. You know, you're making you're taking innovative ideas, leveraging on things that already exist, like mobile phones, and making sure your clients or your key stakeholders have access to the information or access to help easily and faster. Very cool, right? Yeah. So this is also another product of Jira. We call it Jira Service Management, just by the name, providing experience and flawless services to your stakeholders for help. All right. Okay, so this is a help center. If they are not on mobile phones, they can just go to your website and see a help center and they can quickly type and find answers. Okay, the intriguing thing about this for me is that this AI can help them find answers even as they type the questions. It can help them write the right kind of question. Most times with people who support customers, right? The challenge is not giving them the help. The challenge is even understanding the question they are asking. So sometimes people ask question and it's the question they're asking is actually an answer on its own, basically. So AI can actually help them even frame the right kind of questions to get access to the right answers. More importantly, without your active involvement. So the idea of self-service, actually. Yeah. So beyond project management, we are looking at service, unified help, like what I just showed. So I'm going to actually play a short video again. This is actually the last video I'm going to play. And this is like beyond project management. In your company, you have different people, different teams, and different information sitting in different platforms. The future is that people can get help easily. So I'm going to play a video and then get your feedback afterwards. So he asks a question and the answers are in different places, right? Powered by AI, which is on Jira Atlassian Intelligence. So this is where the answers came from, right? All right. So, I mean, you saw it, right? This is cool. I mean, this is not just even for internal customers. It could be a stakeholder asking the right information. And then you can see how it's routed even to a person in the team who can best answer the question. So this is what we are speaking that. In the construction project management, all these things can be implemented more in an agile manner. We start from somewhere, we go together, and it becomes a culture. All right. So Jira is really opened and is actually the thing for you, right? So before the questions and answers, right? Okay, let me just pause for question and answers. Let me just pause for question and answers, right? Okay, I can see a question, right? So let's see. Okay, so let me stop sharing my screen and take questions, and then we move on. All right, so let's just say, okay, so let's see. So is this different app or they are linked together? Marvin. Okay, so truth is they are all linked together. That is the power of Jira. So yes, it's like, how do I say it? Jira, there's Confluence, there's JSM, but they are all under the same umbrella, Jira software. So, and where we come in is that we help you make sure that, yes, you're not spending too much on this software, but you're not moving from these softwares too because they are connected, right? So if you're in Jira, you can access Confluence. If you're in Confluence, you can access JSM. They're all linked together. So that is it, Marvin. Let me see. Okay. Okay. Somebody asked that I should display the projects do not go wrong. They start wrong. Okay. I'm going to do that also. Okay. I think any questions? I mean, if you can get any other questions, then we move. I move to. I wrap up. I mean, I just show you maybe a minute of how the software actually looks in action, and then okay. So if there are no questions, just give me 2 minutes of your time. I'm just going to show you just some few things on how the actual app works and how it looks like, basically. So let me share my screen again. We jump. Okay. Please prompt me if you can see my screen. All right. So, okay. So can you see my screen? Okay. All right. So this is a typical of the help center, right? Different teams can have their portals, and as they click, they can be guided to ask for help. This whole portal can be on their mobile phones, just like I showed in this. So general questions raised is easily the flexibility to raising questions. And so imagine your stakeholder having this flexibility to ask for help anytime. Okay. So quickly, this is also Confluence. Like I said, okay, let me just. So this is Confluence, and you can see the project here. You can see the project scope. These are the spaces all under this. So you can even attach links, you can attach proposals from different websites. It's called Smart Links. So as you're updating probably your online spreadsheet, it's updating here in Confluence automatically. So you don't have to be moving through this. But the idea is that you get to have a unified place of having all your documents, right? So just a quick example, right? You can create a page easily, and let's say I make the page meeting notes, right? The advantage is that you have a lot of templates. So if I come to my right side and I search for meetings, right, I start seeing templates that helps me quickly start um, something easily. So daily stand-up disruptive brainstorming, and just when I click this, I have a document to start with. I can edit as I want and move on. So that is the power of compliance. I can also create a whiteboard, okay, and walk my team through ideas. So blank, let's say, I could just start creating an ideation thing, making sure my team understands the concept basically, so just like that. And this can be collaborative. They can also be on the platform working as I'm working. And this is really, really helpful. The last thing I can do is just I can add smart links. So as you can see, there's a smart link. And what this does is that you can add links of videos, links of stuff. So this is me, and I recorded a Loom video, and it's actually under my document. So it could be a meeting you recorded, something you recorded, you want to kind of make your team see it. And the advantage is that the Confluence is also all these apps are on mobile, so they have information at the right time on the go. Yeah. So briefly, that is Confluence. And when it comes to Jira software, right? So the planning feature and planning your projects, right? You have this is a plans feature that allows you to plan every project. Twist them, multi projects, right? But to not spend time here, the key things is that there's a summary that gives you a summary of what is happening in your plan easily. So if there's team capacity, there's team progress, there are issues and key dependencies, you get to see them. And this is a timeline view. You can also have a list view, right? The good thing about Jira is that you can create scenarios of plans. Okay, so you can have 4 scenarios of a plan and then deploy them as and when they happen. You can also have a team session where you can create your teams in Jira and then assign different specific tasks that every team or different kind of team should perform. So it makes it easy to track work from every team basically. And this release is actually a software feature, but we try to put it in construction. And like I said, we can change the name as it works. So this could be faces, right? So as your team members are working, it can be tracking. You can see that version 2 is actually off track because the release date is different. So this is how you can have visibility also. And then dependencies. You can see your project dependencies, which is very crucial for you in the construction project management phase and actually every project manager. So that's in a brief, this is it. If you want more information, we would really love to, have a call, have a discussion with you, build something that suits your team, you test it out, and we go from there. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. I'm actually using a MacBook. So yes. Thank you, Amen.
Okay, thank you so much, Sam, for this insightful presentation.